MiniWarGaming Speed the Cooler Batrep.
Hey there, MiniWarGamers. The Cooler here from MiniWarGaming with Alex. We're doing 2,000 points of Tauu against Orks. Now we've already rolled off for objective and deployment. I'm deploying first, and it is Big Guns Never Tire, and we have 5 objectives on the board. So 2,000 points, Orks and Tauu. Take a look at the armies and you'll see what's coming. So remember though, go to miniwargaming.com/challenge to challenge a MiniWargamer.
So here are our 2,000 point armies. On the right you see the Tauu, 2,000 points lined up, bunch of fire warriors, some stealth teams, some hammerheads. All of them have ion cannons and a few battle suits. Let's see here, and there's a few pathfinders in the building. On the left we've got all the Orks. He's got over 160 boys altogether, including the burner boys and the shooter boys. The game type we were playing was Big Guns Never Tire, and these are the objectives I'm just going over now. It was in the game, but as you can see, this isn't going to be who holds objectives. It's going to be whether or not one of us gets annihilated. So he's got a lot of bikes, he's got a lot of devcopters, and he does have a huge amount of boys. Like he's got 3 full units of boys on just slugger boys, and then a unit of shooter boys, a bunch of grots, a def dread, and then a few looters with some mech boys in the building. And that's the 2,000 points of Orks. This is how we've deployed, and here we go. Rolling off to see if he steals the initiative. He does not. Tauu turn 1 begins. The battle suits jump up front over the wall to just start firing away. They are probably the best thing in my army for killing his mass swarms here. The stealth teams, though, they move up. I want to try them again. Everyone says they're a lot better in 6th edition, or at least the big cover save that they get now makes them really good, so I wanted to try it out. And shooting more into boys is always a good sign. My fire warriors move up. Now, they just wanted to get into the cover here because I wanted my whole army behind something. Because fire warrior saves are only 4 up, and if the looters decided, they could just destroy my units. And so, hiding behind stuff, definitely a good plan. I totally forgot at this point, though, that it was true line of sight, so those guys in the middle wouldn't have a save, but I'm still figuring out 6th edition. The hammerheads now moving around in the back. Now remember, they do all have ion cannons, even though they have railguns. They are actually ion cannons, so it's a strength 7, heavy 3, AP 3. The marker lights in the building there, they mark the bikers here, and I use 3 of those marker lights to remove all of his cover saves, and use 1 more to buff the ballistic skill of my hammerhead. So he's hitting on 2s, but I do roll 2 1s. And I do 1 wound, but he does not have any kind of save, so he dies from that. The other 2 ion cannons shoot into the bikes. They are not a boosted ballistic skill, but he still does not have his cover save. So they do 4 wounds, and that kills 4 bikes, which is definitely an easy way to get rid of those orc bikers. The battle suits fire their missiles and plasmas all together into the... Actually, they just fire their missiles because they forgot that plasmas have a 28 or 24-inch range. They do 1 glance. This is what happened. The fire warriors fire away, taking pot shots into the front of the boys, just killing a few. More fire warriors shooting into those boys, bunch of shots, and they kill another 3. So he loses a few more boys. Basically, I just want to start whittling them down. The fire warriors in the middle shoot the burners because I do not want them getting across the middle there, and they kill 5 right off the get-go. So the front 5 of those 10 burners get killed. And then the other fire warriors now shooting into the big unit of shooters, and they get a couple hits and 3 wounds, so he loses 3 shooters. And now we've got to roll off for the leadership checks, which the burners make fine, the bikers make fine, and my battle suits then jump back 6 inches behind the wall to where they were before, hiding with their tanks. And that's pretty much it for Tauu turn 1. Orks turn 1 begins. The bikers, they take off. Now he was going to go up on top of the building. Decided not to because he would have to take a dangerous terrain check, even though he would have probably been okay, but better safe than sorry, right? So all the bikers, they do have 12-inch move, fly up around the building, staying in formation as they kind of have 1 guy in the back to keep them in coherency. And in the middle here, we then have his shooters all move up. They're just trying to get closer because that's pretty much how this game is going to go. It's if the Orks make it, they win. If they don't, they lose. So he's got to close that gap before my Tauu fire warriors can gun them all down. His burners move up. He needs to get those right up to the wall there so he can start flamethrowing over the wall, getting rid of my cover save and my armor save. And the def dread moves up. The devcopters all fly off of the building there, just landing there before they start going faster to get over there. Now in hindsight, he was a bit high there, but it's really not a big deal because we're still both learning the whole impact hits and how far you can move and everything like that. So we leave that as that. That's one of the objectives right there as far as the actual game type. The heavy or big guns never tire, but his boys just move up past it because he does just want to close the gap right now. And more boys come running up out of the alleyway back there. Another 30, so he's got 60 boys sitting on this side of the board, facing down 24 fire warriors. But they are boys against fire warriors, so we'll see how that goes. If they make it, then it'll be over. But if they don't, the Grots now moving out of difficult terrain. Roll the 5, so they all come running out. This is actually the first time I've ever seen anyone take Grots, so I wasn't sure what he was going to do with them, if he was going to use them as meat shields or what. But his Knob squad then moves up. Got a good solid unit of 10 along with the war boss. And they've got all kinds of big choppas and power claws and shooters and all kinds of stuff. The other boys, another 30 boys, move up behind the shooter boys, all heading up on the right side here, facing down a squad of fire warriors, pathfinders, and stealth team. The big walker there, the Death Dread, runs. It moves 4 inches, so it just kind of jumps over the wall. And the Burner boys, they run another 2 inches, so everyone just kind of moves up a little bit extra. Having run in 6th edition, or at least having run as an infantry heavy army, definitely seems convenient. Just everyone moving up to 12 inches is really nice. So it really helps him in getting closer to me. Let's put it that way. So his shooter boys move up in the back, heading into the difficult terrain there because they want the cover saves. He's got his other unit of boys rushing up behind the shooters, and there are quite a few of those. So basically, the Orc turn can be summed up in they ran forward. And the fire warriors standing behind that wall are just seeing this, the green tide in pretty much the perfect sense of it, rushing over towards them. Because just one unit after another, charging up, charging up, charging up. The Grots are running, the boys are running, the boys on the other side are running. And at this point, I'm getting pretty nervous because I did a full round of shooting and killed like 5-10 guys, which, oh yeah, you killed 10 sounds like a lot in a normal army, but these are Orcs, and they don't care. So he's moving up another 30 boys, all moving up in the back. But now he shoots, and his Ludas shoot my fire warriors. He gets 2 shots from each Luda, and they're hitting on 5s and 6s, but they wound on 2s, and I only get my cover save for being behind the Aegis, and I fail 4 of those. I took them off the back originally, but I realized that 6th edition's not like that, so I took them off the front. And now his bikers shoot into my stealth team. They get to reroll to hit, hitting on 5s and then wounding on 2s. But I have a 2-up cover save because I have stealth and I'm behind a wall. So only 1 dies. And then his flyers move up a bit more, just moving 12 in the shooting phase here, boosting a little bit. And nearing the end of his turn, I do my morale check for those fire warriors that got killed, and they're okay. So the end of turn 1, end of Orcs turn 1 anyway, and this is what the board looks like. Pretty much the same, but they're 6 to 12 inches closer. Stay tuned for part 2 and see if the Orcs can close the gap.